With the majority of African nations diversifying from traditional sources of income, entrepreneurship is increasingly seen as a key to economic growth. Entrepreneurship is seen as one of the most sustainable job generation tools in Zimbabwe and the continent. Many African governments have created opportunities in terms of finance and access to markets, and Zimbabwe is no exception. The mindset has changed, and many young people now think as employers. Youths are starting their own companies and providing themselves with the needed source of income. It's no surprise that the food and catering industry is an attractive one for entrepreneurs. After all, everyone has to eat. 34-year-old Leon Damba has since 2012 been running 2 catering companies and is convinced other youths can do it too.
Get up and give it a shot. You never know. You might win, you might fail, but then rather fail fast than live to regret and say, well, I should have tried to do this. When I started business, I met a lot of people along the way who said, I also wanted to do this, but then I never really got the chance to do it. And now the time is gone by and then I can't really do it. We're only young for a certain period of time. And if you don't take advantage of our youth and the time that we're really energetic, by the time we get to our 50s or 60s, 70s, if you haven't really lived the life that you really want to live, there will be a lot of miseries and looking back and saying, I should have done this. So I'll say, get up and start, whatever it is.
There are a lot of opportunities for forward-thinking entrepreneurs who want to jump on this train. However, the food industry, though popular, is a tough one. So how did Damba get into running a business?
I've always wanted to be a businessman. I think I knew that I was going to be going to entrepreneurship when I was in Form 2. That's when I decided I wanted to go into business. What sort of business, I didn't know. All I knew is that I just wanted to be a businessman, but a businessman with money. That's all I wanted to do. Well, fast forward to the time I went to college, I did food science and dietherapy, which led me to be working in the food industry. And then being in the food industry opened my eyes to all these other opportunities. And from then, I just started running after them. The money is still to follow, but at least I've managed to start the entrepreneurial journey. So that's how I've gotten to where I am right now. I started off in 2012 after I was working for another food company which is in the fast food industry, and I realized that there was a gap in the industry, which was events catering. So that's when I started the company called Meals on Wheels, where we go to outdoor events such as Unplugged, Cookout, and then we set up our kitchen there, and we start selling our food through the trailers, the food truck. That is now developed and grown to leading us to opening up Cafe Society, which is at Botanic Gardens, mainly because people used to ask us after events, where do we find you? So we needed to find a home where people could find us during the week, hence the birth of Cafe Society.
One thing for sure, it is not a smooth road, but he says it is worth trying despite the obstacles.
Zimbabwe's got its challenges, but then being an entrepreneur in Zimbabwe, I think it's got its interesting times, it's got its down times, and it's got its good times. But then at the end of the day, ultimately, you need to know. It has taught me rather how to manage situations with little resources, sometimes no resources, but being able to make $1. If you come from home with no dollar and then you go back home with $1, to me it's always a win. I know it's pretty hard to chase a lot of money in this environment sometimes, but the little that we do have, and manage to share it with the guys that will come to work for us, it's always a good thing. I guess that's the perks of it. Yeah.
Startups which provide prepared meals for people on the go are quite popular. It is trial and error, but the trick is to keep going, learning, and growing. Join us after the break for more young people who are following their passion and creating jobs in the process.
Don't stop, never resist. Turn them haters into them work process. 1 out of 99 problems. Don't stop, never resist. Turn them haters into them work process. 1 out of 99 problems.
How are young people starting up and managing their businesses? Are they able to create opportunities for others through employment? How do they learn to persevere through the hurdles associated with startups? In the middle of Harare's central business district is Tafadzwa Dennis Chirau and Geoffrey Tapiwa Msekiwa, both 30 years old and running a digital printing company. The two started after graduating from school and realized that there were opportunities in their country for youths like them.
What made us get into this line of business is we used to work for a printing company before. So with the high rate of unemployment in this country, we just decided with my friend, look, we can open our own business and look for our own clients and work on it on our own. So boom, then it just got on professionally and we moved on. We started, it was late 2013, then we registered our company in 2014. That's when we started the business. From the start, it's been really challenging, as I can say. But I'm sure because of God, we prayed a lot, because of the boldness that we showed, we have really managed to maneuver through. In this Zimbabwean economy, it's not easy starting a business, but we really had to push hard. We really had to push hard to get where we are right now. Because right now we're serving quite a lot of corporates. We've got Pepsi, we've got Puma, we've got Mukuru, and some other SMEs that are still rising.
No doubt, every entrepreneur has something that keeps them awake at night. A fear of failure or that constant doubt that things might not just work out. But at the same time, there is also that self-belief that keeps them going and striving to succeed. Emerging business organizations in Zimbabwe play an important role in fueling the economy, and a majority of the locals get their income from such jobs.
Business-wise, let's say the first 5 years, because now we have surpassed 5 years, but the first 5 years were quite challenging, educative, fun, and we've managed to pull through. We had our shortfalls. You know, when you start a business, it's not all rosy. You have ups and downs. Some of the downs, they are not really difficulties per se, but it's a case of a learning process where you're learning how to do ABC until you sharpen yourself and do it better as you go.
Depending on their industry or stage of growth, one may see different challenges and opportunities in different sectors. But it's how they read the economy and use it to their advantage that separates startups that make it from the rest. Musekiwa says Zimbabwean youths must not despair as the country goes through an economic transition and stabilization phase. Find something you're passionate about and pursue it.
My message to the youths out there is be patient. it really needs a lot of patience and discipline. You know, there comes a time where you're at the forefront of making decisions, but those decisions, they have to be profitable. They have to have some form of security. You know, you can't just decide today I'm doing this, tomorrow I'm doing this. You have to know where you stand exactly. Then your life will always go on.
However, it is not just about being passionate about something. While some of the startups fail simply because they didn't create something people want, a bigger chunk vanish due to the wrong execution of their growth and marketing plans. But what challenges has these young entrepreneurs faced? What all entrepreneurs eventually learn is the simple truth. There are no silver bullets out there, no easy road to success. It is about constant learning and figuring out how to navigate the hurdles. It is about defining growth and constantly measuring it. With the world moving into full digitalization, the printing industry is fast changing. Coupled with the shrinking economy, Creative Beru has challenges to deal with to remain alive. Is that something to worry about? Maybe close shop.
Despite the challenges that we've been facing, it's more of when you're doing something that you really love, nothing can stop you. You know, challenges might come, difficulties might come, but you always focus on your goal and focus on the end result that you want to achieve. And I think that's what has pushed Creative Beru to where it is now and to where it is going to be in the future, which is becoming one of the biggest advertising agencies in Zimbabwe.
Damba is cautious about how the world is shaping and where that is taking his business to. But he still sees the light ahead.
Our business is mainly centered around people having residual income. So if people do not have that extra dollar to spend after doing their main the basics, taking care of everything at home, they won't be able to come and spend that extra dollar to buy a burger from us. So those are like the main, that's the main constraint in our business. But then how we have managed to go around it is providing affordable, healthy meals, making sure that our prices go well with the people's pockets, so that they don't have to break the bank for them to afford our meals. So that's how we have gone around that.
And the future in 5 years' time?
We have to see how the new world comes out, and we have to structure ourselves as a business to suit that, because the world is changing. Right now we're talking with masks. We never used to wear masks, so all these things, distancing and everything, they're going to live in a longer impact than what we're going through right now. So I'll say we'll remain innovative. So 5 years from now, I cannot say per se this is where we are going to be, but I can promise that 5 years from now we'll be innovating from where we are right now to suit the situation, which will be relevant or present in that time, I guess.
Don't stop, never resist. Turn them hitters into them work process. 1 out of 99 problems. Don't stop, never resist. Turn them hitters into them work process. 1 out of 99 problems.
Young people in Zimbabwe and across the world are already disproportionately unemployed. And for those who are employed, many work in the informal and gig economy, on precarious contracts, or in the service sectors of the economy that have been severely affected by COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdowns. This is one of the reasons why it is important to turn young people into employers. How have young people been affected, and how do they protect their startups and businesses from shutting down?
Since lockdown happened, I haven't been able to travel to go get the tomatoes and all the farm produce that I have. So with the money that I had to buy layers so that I can switch trades for the meantime to layers. So I bought 50 layers for starters, and then I bought these ones as well with the money that I got from the eggs, from the first breeds. So far I can't really complain much because these eggs are selling out really nice, and I'm actually running out of space to increase my layers as well, because the number of people who want eggs, they are more than the number of eggs that I can be able to produce on a daily basis.
But what challenges does she still face in growing her business?
I've been supplying vegetables, tomatoes, vegetables, onions, peas to vendors. I try to make my prices slightly above the ones they get from the market, or just equivalent to that, so that I supply to them. So it has been going so well because they've been buying from me, I've been supplying to them, and it's been working. But since the lockdown happened, I haven't been able to do that because all the vendors, they are no longer in the streets to sell, and all my farm produce that I had, some of them, they had gone bad because I can't go get them, and I can also not sell them since people are locked indoors currently.
She is looking forward to the end of the lockdown to try supplying and selling both eggs and vegetables. There are, however, challenges that she would like to see solved for youths to meaningfully take part in the economy of Zimbabwe.
Problems that I'm facing, basically, it's funding, the money to start all this. It's basically a big challenge to me, and the space to increase the supplies that I have. It's also a challenge, and also inflation is also a big challenge, and transportation, taking the birds from one place to another, delivering the birds from the clients from here to my clients is also another major problem. I sell my stuff using RTGS or bond cash. So when I want to buy feeds for the chickens, they sell in US dollars, and if they convert that price to RTGS or bond, the price will be really high than buying in US dollars. So I'll have to change that money to US dollars. So that part, it's training, because the money that I'm supposed to be getting profit from, I'm now using that same money to change my money to be US dollars. And I also sell my stuff using RTGS. So changing that to US dollars, it's a big challenge to me, because everything that I need basically, they're being sold at US dollars. And if you buy in US dollars, the prices are really reasonable. And if you tell people to buy in US dollars, they'll tell you different reasons from their different angles. So I actually have to go down to RTGS. But then at the end of the day, I'll not be making as much profit as I'm supposed to be making, since I have to change the money to RTGS, to US dollars, I mean.
But she remains optimistic and will not stop informal trading to raise fees for her siblings and to complete her IT studies in 5 years' time.
I see myself being out there, being read, being a motivator for young people to be independent and to be entrepreneurs and their own levels, not being restrained by age. I also see myself into farming and not forgetting that I'm still in school, so yeah. I also see myself doing farming, and I don't know, I see myself doing great. I think this is a good start, and I don't know how it'll end, but I think it'll end nice.
Youth are the most important human capital of any economy, as they are adaptable, receptive, and understand employment in the millennial age. But to realize their full potential, they need an enabling business environment and a more robust approach for inclusion of their voices. How do young people get their voices included in dialogue around economic recovery, post-COVID-19, and job creation? The Youth Empowerment and Transformation Trust is committed to the full participation of young people in sustainable development through advocacy and capacity building, and is aware of challenges young people are facing and is working with them to find solutions.
Youth's participation has been remarkable, so to speak. It's been okay. Young people are hungry to participate in national decision-making processes, and our endeavors for them to participate in those national decision-making processes have been convening policy dialogues and platforms where they can interface with decision-makers, duty-bearers at different levels, from local to national level, so that their youth concerns can be inputted into policy formulation. There are a myriad of challenges that we face in making this a reality, because from the get-go, we need to include everyone. So there's the element of making sure that we are representing young people from different backgrounds, from marginalized communities, from rural communities, from the peri-urban sectors and the urban sectors as well. So the challenges have been trying to include everyone in those national decision-making processes. And then in terms of the areas of what young people really want and their concerns, they vary, but most of them are linked to education, employment and skills for livelihoods, their health, and their hunger to participate in local governance processes. So they want more voice rather than just being given a chance to participate in platforms. They want representation of young people in spaces where they can actually also make the decisions together with those who are making the decisions at the moment. Youth Empowerment and Transformation Trust is involved in research work. So most of our work is evidence-based. We do evidence-based programming, and we also do research for the sake of evidence-based advocacy as well. So we use the VAN model, which is voices, advocacy, and networking. So we gather the youth voices, and then we advocate through the network that we have as an organization, so that we advance policy advocacy in that manner. So that's the strategy we've been employing.
And for those in business, the lesson to bear in mind is that people go for brands they connect with emotionally and align with socially, but they will return to one's competitors if the product and experience does not match their expectations. The advice for those who are innovating is: exist to do good, but compete as if your product and experience are all that matter. And in all this, strive to create jobs.
Yeah, I'ma have it up on progress. Never gonna stop, never resist. Telling them haters is a damn boring process. 1 out of 99 problem. I'ma have it up on progress. Never gonna stop, never resist. Telling them haters is a damn boring process. 1 out of 99 problem.
So I don't wanna die, me want to live long time. I pray that all my demons don't come back knocking for me at the wrong time. On my knees saying, Mama, won't you pray for me? Cause I know that you're the one that's down for me, Mama. You gon' love me long time. I'ma step up onto my grind.
I'ma have it up on progress. Never gonna stop, never resist. Telling them haters is a damn boring process.